live in high definition. This is Western New York's news leader. Now, News 4 at 5.
And we begin at 5 with your forewarned forecast with a live look from the Erie County Fair in Hamburg. You can see there is some rain moving through parts of Western New York right now on our radar. So good evening to you, and thank you for joining us for our final weekday newscast live from the fair. We're hoping, of course, that the rain stays away through the rest of this night.
So far, so good. Let's go ahead and check in with forewarned meteorologist Andrew Baglini. He's timing all this out for us. A lot going on around Western New York this evening, Andrew.
Yeah, Dave and Jackie, I can guarantee that we are not going to stay dry for the rest of the night. But if you have any plans to head down to the fair, down to the concert at Canal Side, I think we're going to get lucky, at least for the next few hours, of some extended rain-free time. Up in Niagara Falls and around Buffalo, we've even been enjoying a few breaks of sunshine over the past couple of hours. Down around the southern tier, though, different story. We've had some downpours and thunderstorms rolling through Chautauqua and Cattaraugus County. They're moving along at a pretty good pace out there, but they are putting down some pretty heavy rain. Temperatures in the mid-70s there, upper 70s and low 80s here closer to the city. Dew points are also up there. Very, very muggy feeling outside with dew points in the 70s. There's a whole lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and that's why these showers and storms are producing some very heavy rain where they are setting up. However, we've had a very nice breeze coming in off of Lake Erie, keeping the metro, the Niagara Frontier, a little bit more comfortable, and that's also been shielding us from any wet weather so far over the past few hours, and that's why the activity is largely north and south of the city. Line of thunderstorms, though, rolling just north of Jamestown and Chautauqua County through Cattaraugus, Wyoming County, even seeing a few showers south of Warsaw, and that goes all the way to just south of Rochester right now. In the meantime, we do have some rain off to the west that's crossing Lake Erie, and I do expect some of that to arrive closer to the metro around 8 o'clock or so, 8, maybe 9 o'clock. So if you're down at the Hamburg Fairgrounds later tonight or at the concert, I am expecting a little bit of rain again towards the tail end. But for the next few hours, we should be good to go under mostly cloudy skies and just a few bright spots here and there. We've become a little bit stormier late tonight as a cold front moves in, and that's going to be moving from north to south. After that, though, we are looking at some pretty nice weather shaping up for the actual weekend. I'll tell you about that in your full forewarned forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All eyes are on the Buffalo Bills tonight as they get ready to take on the Cleveland Browns. Tonight, of course, is a second preseason game this year.
And the big question on everybody's mind at this point is who will be tonight's starting quarterback. There's also a lot of hype surrounding new and former faces on both sides of the football. Sports director Josh Reed joins us live from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland with the latest. Josh.
Well, this will be a little bit of a homecoming for Bills wide receiver Corey Coleman. A couple of weeks ago, Coleman was traded from Cleveland to Buffalo. The former first-round draft pick just never quite lived up to the expectations here with the Browns. Maybe a fresh start will turn things around for him. He's expected to make his debut tonight against his former team, the Browns. Coleman earlier this week was asked if he felt like he has anything to prove.
There's always something to prove when you step on the field. You know, this team got high expectations for me and also have them for myself. So every time I'm out there, I'm gonna give 100% and, you know, do my job. Got big expectations from myself, and, you know, I'm gonna just do what the coaches have planned for me. We haven't really talked about how much I'm gonna play and stuff. I know I'm gonna get out there, you know, get out there, play hard for this team and this organization.
Coleman expected to make his debut, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Also, wide receiver Zay Jones expected to make his preseason debut coming up a little bit later tonight. Coming up later in sports, I'm going to be joined by Tim Graham from The Athletic in Buffalo. That's coming up a little bit later in sports. Back to you.
Other news now, the list of potential candidates to replace Congressman Chris Collins just got a little shorter.
Senator Patrick Gallivan has announced that he will no longer be a GOP candidate for the 27th congressional seat. In a statement that was sent out earlier today, Gallivan says his commitment to his current constituents, other GOP state senators, and his family take precedent over personal ambition. Gallivan seemed to be a top contender to fill that seat, at least until today. Last weekend, of course, Chris Collins announced that he was suspending his re-election campaign after he was arrested on insider trading charges. Well, whoever the Republicans decide to choose will face Democrat Nate McMurray and Reform Party candidate Larry Piegza in the November election. He will, of course, bring you the latest updates here on air and on our News 4 app.
He went out doing what he loved, and it's tragic, but it's beautiful.
Family and friends are mourning the loss of 61-year-old Jeffrey Beeler. Beeler died Wednesday near Hamburg Beach during a kite surfing accident. And police say the man died while on Lake Erie.
News 4's Rachel Monjovi is learning more about Beeler tonight. She talked to his 3 daughters, and she joins us live back in the studio in North Buffalo. Rachel?
Dave and Jackie, if there's one thing I've learned about Jeffrey Beeler, it's how adventurous he was. He enjoyed kite surfing, windsurfing, snowboarding, hiking, you name it. He even taught people how to kite surf. Hamburg police tell us officers and lifeguards noticed he was having trouble on the choppy waters on Lake Erie Wednesday. Police say a gust of wind got hold of his sail and pushed him out further into the lake. Jet skiers raced over to him to try to reach him, but police say it was too late. Officers pulled his body from the lake. Beeler was well known in the Hamburg community. He owned Beeler's Village Square Liquors and helped out anyone he could.
He was a very special man, and anybody who knows him, well, they can't forget him. He was a very adventurous, but he had such a big heart and always giving. There's a hole in our hearts.
He will be greatly missed.
Beeler's funeral will be held at Demerly Funeral Home in Hamburg Sunday from 7 to 9. A celebration of his life will be held next Sunday, August 26th at the Knights of Columbus from 4 to 8. Rachel Monjovi, News 4.
Buffalo police say they have arrested 2 people in connection with a shooting that left a young man in serious condition. 18-year-old Jason Chapman from Buffalo is charged with felony assault and criminal possession of a weapon. 23-year-old DeAndre Brown is also charged with criminal possession of a weapon. The 19-year-old who was shot remains in serious condition at ECMC tonight.
Meanwhile, a 27-year-old Buffalo man has pleaded not guilty to a deadly shooting that happened 3 years ago. Cornelius Jones is charged with manslaughter. He's accused of shooting and killing 21-year-old Daquan Griggs during a neighborhood block party on Montana Avenue on July 5th, 2015. Jones faces a maximum of 15 years in prison if he's convicted. His sentencing has been set for October 24th. We'll straight ahead in 2 minutes. If you're used to getting a tax refund, there are some changes that could affect you next year. We'll tell you what steps that you could take to make sure that you get your money.
And then coming up at 5:30, new curriculum is coming to New York schools. We'll tell you why your child will now be getting a lesson in mental health.